Hi, welcome. Turning everything on. Okay, we are live. I'm so excited about today. I'm making my s'more truffle pops. They have a chocolate truffle center. Then they have graham crackers surrounding that, and then they're dipped in homemade marshmallow fluff and toasted. They're seriously so good. They've been on my blog for a while now. You guys are going to love them. So let's make sure I can see all comments, and then we can get started. Go ahead and let me know where you guys are watching from, and anything else that you are looking forward to about summer. My kids are out of school. It's summertime. I cannot wait. I'm actually not going to be live next Tuesday because I'm going to be in Chicago with a bunch of my girlfriends teaching at a blog conference. I'm super excited about that. Teaching other bloggers how to do this. So I'm super excited. Carolee, Margaret, hi, welcome. Okay, comments are up and working. Grace, guess you're wanting more people to show up? Nope, I'm here. I guess I'm like a couple minutes late, sorry about that. So super excited. So the first thing that we're going to do is to make the center of these pops, is to make the truffles. Now truffles are actually super easy. 2 ingredients, chocolate and cream. Now, because it's going to taste like whatever chocolate you use, I like to mix my chocolates up. I like to get high quality chocolate, and I like to mix up the brands and the flavors. These are a couple of dark, a couple bittersweets, and a couple semi-sweets. And it's a mix right now, I think, of Ghirardelli's and Peters and Calabuts and maybe Merkins. I just keep a huge mix of chocolates around and just kind of pull from what I taste like. I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again, do not use chocolate chips for ganache. Chocolate chips are made with an ingredient and a coating that keeps them holding their shapes, that when you make chocolate chip cookies, you still get those beautiful shapes that don't get destroyed, but they don't melt well. And they, like I said, they have that other ingredient. So when you do melt them, if you can melt them without burning them, because they have to melt at a much, much, much higher temperature, because they're made to hold their shape in a 350-degree oven, right? So you have to cook them at a much higher temperature to get them to actually melt. Try not to burn them. And then they always have a chippy flavor to me. So again, go with a high quality chocolate or chocolate bar. These are chocolate melts, right? They're made to melt. So that is my platform for not using chocolate chips in ganache. So first thing that we want to do is to actually heat up our cream. So the proper way to do this is to have your chips, or not your chips, your chocolate, not chips, all chopped up or in small portions in a bowl, heat safe bowl. And then you want to heat up your cream to a nice little simmer. So I'm going to pour my cream right into my saucepan and turn that on. Make sure that I get everything in there. And we don't want this to come to a full rolling boil. We just want it to simmer. So what we're looking for is actually along the edges of the pot for there to be just a little bit of bubbles forming. So right around here. We want there to be some like bubbles forming in there. So we're going to leave this on for a little bit. It should not take long. I will say, don't walk away. There have been so many times where I've been making ganache and I put the cream on and I'm like, oh, nothing's happening. You know what? It's going to take a couple minutes. I'm going to go run and do something, and then I forget. And then it boils and it boils over and it's a huge mess and it's a pain to clean. It's awful. So truffles, chocolate and cream. Now you can of course add other things to your truffles. One of the things that I've done in the past is I've made caramel, and then I've used the caramel to melt the chocolate, and I've made like a caramel truffle. What else can you do? You can, while you're simmering, bringing your cream to a slight simmer, you can put vanilla beans in there and get a really nice strong vanilla flavor. You can add any other extracts and stuff like that. The one thing you want to be aware of is you don't want to add anything water-based to your chocolates. That causes chocolates to seize up. So you want to use oil-based flavorings if you're adding any flavorings to the chocolate. If you're adding it directly to the cream though, then it's a little bit more flexibility in what you do. But you want to also be careful when adding extracts to something that you're heating, because that heat evaporates and the extracts actually aren't as flavorful. So you want to be careful about that. So often what I'll do is I'll simmer my cream, I'll pour it over the chocolate, let it melt, and then I'll add the extracts as it's cooling that I want to add, but again, making sure they're oil-based. So those are some tips for creating different flavors in your truffles. Today, since we're going for s'mores and it's more about the chocolate, graham cracker, and marshmallow, I'm just going with a nice, simple cream. And this is a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 parts chocolate to 1 part cream. That's going to give us a nice, thick truffle. When I'm doing frosting, I tend to do more like 2 parts chocolate to 1 part cream. And when I'm doing like a ganache strip, I do 1 part chocolate to 1 part cream ratio. But the technique is the same either way. All right, so this is not quite simmering yet. Are there any questions about chocolates that you should pick for making ganaches? I will come up with that. You love my hair. Thank you, Rachel. Hello from Mississippi. Hello from Los Angeles. Facebook is choppy, so you switched to YouTube. Well, I'm glad that for the past couple of weeks, it feels like 1 week Facebook's not working, then 1 week YouTube's not working, and 1 week Facebook's not working. Oh man, it does look like Facebook is having trouble. Seriously. It's like it hates me. So if you're on Facebook and it's not working, hop on over to YouTube because it's working over there. Knock on wood. Right now. Would you be able to make a new video of the nacho video? It has a lot of static. You know what, Andrian, you can actually see that full one on Facebook. It worked out great, and I put the Facebook version on my blog, so that should work out well too. If enough people want it, yeah, I can do it live again, but probably not anytime soon. Snooze. Get a notification up on my computer, which is always fun. Hello, you love my creations. Thank you so much, Ray. You want to learn my techniques? Carolee, I want to learn new video techniques. What blogger conferences can we attend? This is my last one I'm speaking at this year, but I have my own retreat called vidretreat.com where I teach all of these techniques of the multi-camera, live streaming, and edited style DIY cooking videos that you control yourself. Like I don't have anybody, it's just me. I'm a one-woman show and I run everything myself. So we talk everything from equipment to setup to storyboarding to filming and tips and tricks and stuff like that. And that's in September 5th through 7th. Sylvia, hello from Houston, hello from Florida, hello from the Philippines. We have somebody from everywhere these days. I love it. So much fun. Alberta, Canada, Springtown, Texas. Dang, we got people from everywhere. So Sherry asks where I get my chocolates. I'm just going to give this a quick stir to see how this is done. All right. I get my chocolates from a local store called Gigi's. All right, can you see? See how it's starting to get like a little skin on there and it's starting to get thick, but we don't have any bubbles yet. It is almost there. It's so close. We are just looking for a little bit of bubbles over here on the side. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. So I get mine from a local store called Gigi's. They sell a ton of different chocolates, but honestly, Trader Joe's, those big, huge chocolate bars, those things are awesome and they're a great price and they're good quality. Just remember, whatever you pick, it's going to taste like that. So if you pick like all Trader Joe's chocolates, then your truffles are going to taste just like that, which is why I like mixing mine up a little bit. You can also order from Amazon, although I wouldn't suggest shipping during the summer because it gets so warm, but any like local restaurant supply store should be a good option. All right, so we are getting some simmering, just a little bit. Of course, I moved it, now it's out of focus. So I'm going to turn this off and take this off and get this out of the way. Bring our chocolates in. And I'm just going to pour this right over the chocolate. Nice warm cream right over the chocolate. I'm going to give this a little shake and see how it kind of brings all of the chocolate down into the cream. We want this completely surrounded. And then one other trick that another friend of mine does that I had never thought of before and I thought was genius. She actually takes some plastic wrap because we want to let this sit for about 5 minutes. And she just puts the plastic wrap right over the top to help just kind of hold in that heat. And the reason for, oh great, my plastic stuck to itself. That's always the worst. So the reason for the 5-minute wait in Ganache is this. You actually want that cream and the chocolate to sit there together. And that warm cream is just kind of permeating through the chocolate and getting it warm all the way to the center so that when you stir it, the chocolate is melted and it's going to stir together really smoothly. I was mixing smooth and stir together. But if you do it now, those chocolates are still hard and thick, and as I'm stirring, that actually is cooling the cream down much, much, much faster than just letting it sit. And so then I'm going to have big chunks of chocolate I'm going to have to deal with. And if you wait too long, kind of the same thing. Everything cools, the cream starts to cool, the chocolate starts to cool, and you get those chunks again. So 5 minutes, kind of like a good sweet spot. So take the burner away for now. Put a timer on. And let that sit. Barbara, hi, nice to see you. Hello from San Diego, Texas, Georgia. Dang, we have people from all over the place. YouTube is much better. I'm so glad, Dan. I'm glad you switched over. Your first live chat. Hello from Alabama. Hi, Sarah. Welcome, welcome. Hi from Jeddah. Where is that, Dinah? I would love to know. Okay. You feel like this might ruin your dinner. Hillary, if you lived close enough to come visit me and get food, yes, it would ruin your dinner because it's going to ruin mine. That's exactly how I like to do that. Okay, so we have that started. I'm going to show you that in a minute, but just so that we're not sitting here waiting for the whole time, I actually already made a batch of ganache. Truth be told, I have 4 batches of ganache in my fridge right now because every time I make it for something, I always keep the extras because the best trick of this is that you can reheat it. So if we have chunks in this, like I just talked about, one of the ways that you can fix it is you take your bowl and you put it over a pot of boiling water, water bath style, and you just stir it and slowly heat that up in that indirect heat from the steam, and that will melt all those chocolate bits. It does then warm up this whole bowl, and it will take a little bit longer for that to cool down and thicken up. Once this is smooth, I let it cool to room temperature, and then I stick it in the fridge to get firm enough that I can scoop. If I wanted to take this refrigerated ganache and I wanted to heat it back up again to create like a drip, I would just do the same thing. I would put this, not a glass bowl necessarily, but I would put this over a pot of boiling water and just keep stirring it until the whole thing was nice and melted. So I like a certain consistency when I'm using ganache as a frosting, and I do that if it gets a little bit too hard. I'll just kind of reheat it a little bit and let it warm back up to get the consistency that I'm looking for. Or again, I save that drip, that 1-to-1 ratio in my fridge, and then I can reuse it for multiple cakes over time. So it's chocolate and cream. You're good. It's good. So I'm going to move that aside for now, and I'm going to grab, so I have ganache, and I have a camera change. And I have graham crackers that I have crunched up. I have some sticks. And now we are going to take this ganache using your cookie scoop. See how this has been chilled so it's nice and thick. And I'm going to just scoop this into my hand. Now, if you don't like messes, wear gloves because this is going to get very, very messy. So I'm going to roll this in my hand to create a nice ball. And the other thing that I'm doing is notice the chocolate's melting because that's what chocolate does when it comes against warmth. But that's actually a good thing in this scenario. So I actually want it to warm up a little bit. I'm going to take my stick and stick it right in the middle. This is going to create our pop. And then I'm going to roll this in the graham crackers. And this is our graham cracker layer for our pops. And then I take a foam, what are these called? Foam block that I get at like a craft supply store. And I leave the plastic on it. So this is still wrapped in plastic. And I just stick that in there, and I use these for my pops. So let's make a couple more. Now this is the small cookie scoop. So the number on this one, hold on, let's see if I can read the number. Whoop. I don't know that I can. 60. This is number 60. So I want to say this is like half a tablespoon. And you can, of course, oh, there goes our friend Minimark. You can, of course, make these as big as you want, but because I know that these look a little bit dinky, like next to me, this looks like pretty small to be bite size, but remember, we're gonna add a whole layer onto this of that thick marshmallow cream. And so this is the size that I thought, after some experimenting, that I thought was perfect. So let's roll this in the graham crackers. Oh, I'm making a mess. And I like my graham crackers to be a little bit chunkier, because if it's too fine, then you don't really get much of a graham cracker layer. As you're gonna see when we bite into this at the end, it's already a little bit on the thin side for a graham cracker representation in this, but I didn't want to put the graham crackers on the outside because I like the marshmallow on the outside. So I try to keep the graham crackers a little bit thicker and really press into those balls so that I get a little graham cracker layer there. All right, let's do another one. And then we're going to go skip back and stir that ganache real fast. And nice and melt after I wash my hands. So this one has gotten a little bit alien shaped. So this gets really, really messy the more you go. Every couple of balls, I usually like rinse my hands in cold water. Here, use my other hand. I'm losing fingers that are clean. And dip in the graham crackers. Anyway, I'll rinse my hands in cold water to kind of cool down my hand so that it's not quite so warm. Okay. So now those finished pops we want to put in the fridge so that they're nice and chilled and firm. And make sure your hands are clean for the next part. All right, I'm gonna put the graham crackers and the finished truffle away and wipe down the counter really fast. It is amazing how messy this one gets. But yeah, so it's important that your truffle is chilled and try to keep your hands a little bit on the chilled side as well. All right, so let's come back to our cream and chocolate that has been sitting, warming. And get my spatula back. So now we're going to start stirring, and look at how those chunks of chocolate just are gone. Like as you can kind of see the shape for a second, and then as I lift it up, they just melt away. So that's what giving it that time does. Now we're just going to stir it together. This is actually one of my favorite things to make because it's like cream, 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 and then in a couple seconds, it's all of a sudden going to be this luscious chocolate. Look, it's amazing. Sherry, how long do I keep it in the refrigerator? Like the original truffle, I just refrigerate it until it's chilled to a firm consistency that I can ball up. And then these pops, I just put in the fridge while I'm making the marshmallow that we're going to make in just a second. So they don't need to be in for long. Oh, look. And now we have this luscious, thick chocolate with no chunks. That is the magic of the 5-minute rule. Let's, in here, you can see, hopefully, just how beautiful and smooth that is. No chunks of chocolate. It just, oh, so pretty. I would bathe in this if I could. Ganache is pretty much the perfect food. I use it for so much. All right, I will stop drooling over my chocolate. Put that aside. And now we're gonna bring everything, I'm gonna put the pops in the fridge for a second, and then we're gonna make the marshmallow cream. So I have 2 different ways that I make my homemade marshmallow cream. One way is I put the egg whites and the sugar and everything in a pot on top of, in a bowl on top of the pot. And that's my, and a water bath method, and I beat it over that. This method that we're using today is actually to beat the egg whites and the sugar together separately to soft peaks. And then we're going to melt sugar, pour the sugar over the egg whites while we're whipping them, and bring them together. So they both styles work, they're just a little bit different techniques. So first thing I'm gonna do, is get that sugar and water mixture melting. So plug my burner back in. Ooh. I'm going to use the same pot I used before, so I'm just giving it a quick cleaning. And a dry. Okay, so for this mixture, we have, let's see. Ooh, you can hear that steaming. We have sugar and water. And we have some corn syrup. Now I get a lot of questions about corn syrup because people have been hearing a lot about corn syrup the last couple of years, and all that negative stuff that you're constantly hearing about is the high fructose corn syrup, which is different from the corn syrup that you get at the grocery store. And the reason that I like to use corn syrup, because people always ask if they can leave it out. Yes, you can. The reason that I don't, the reason that I like to use it is actually because it does a couple of things for candy making. I use it for caramels and marshmallows and nougat centers and stuff like that. And the reason for that is it actually helps bind everything together. It keeps it from getting grainy. Have you ever like cooked a caramel sauce or something like that and it's gotten really grainy? Corn syrup helps with that. It also helps with give it better body and hold and binding, and then it also gives it better shine. So that is why I use corn syrup. Oh, and I got corn syrup everywhere I touch something. Touch something corn syrupy. Man, I'm just making a mess today. So we're going to heat this up and bring this to a boil, and we want to bring it up to about 242 degrees. Now remember, you want to high altitude adjust for that. So I'm at a super high altitude, so water boils at a lower temperature than it does at sea level. So again, I'm actually not heating it up all the way to 242. I have about a 20-degree difference, so I'm heating it up to 222. So I'm going to put that aside and let that heat up. Give it a quick stir. And we're going to work on the egg whites. And I'm super excited about this part today because if any of you guys have been watching my videos for any time at all, you have heard me talk about my desire for dun, 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 a copper bowl. Look how pretty. Oh, you guys, it's on. I'm so excited. I talked to a brand at the International Home and Houseware Show last month. I walked by and I saw copper, and my eyes went all huge and gorgeous, and I went over and drooled a little bit and tried not to drool on the copper. And he had this amazing display of copper, and we just started talking to each other. And this week he sent me some awesome copper products, and I was like, this is perfect because I'm making marshmallow and this is going to be awesome for this. So this is surtodo. I think I'm saying that right. It's a Spanish word, so I'm probably totally butchering it. I looked up the pronunciation before I went on my video, and they rolled their R's beautifully. And now I'm smiling and laughing at myself, so I'm not going to be able to say it. I can roll R's, I just can't do it as a part of a word. Sortodo. Anyway, I'm totally butchering it. SERTODO.com. And you can look, they have plates and platters and bowls and pots and glasses and mugs and all sorts of gorgeousness. And I'm super excited. So why have I been wanting a copper bowl for so long? The reasoning is that copper is supposed to make a difference when you are beating egg whites, which is what we're doing today to make this marshmallow fluff. So one of the things that copper does is it helps bind the egg whites together better, because as you're beating it, and don't get grossed out by this, but little bits of the copper are being put into your food. Now, not enough that it's causing any problems, I promise. Totally safe to eat and cook with and make with. It's awesome. What it's doing, they're like microscopic. I eat gold leafing on cakes. That's way more than this. And it's helping bind the eggs better. This was especially important back when people were whisking all of their eggs by hand. Now, of course, we have hand mixers, but your egg whites will actually beat faster. They will be smoother, they will bind better, and they will have a nice, smooth, glossy finish. And again, like the corn syrup does for the sugar mixture, it actually helps keep your egg whites from getting grainy, which is not something that you want. If any of you have ever made any type of meringue before, grainy egg whites are the worst. So I'm super excited about this. And if you are using copper, you actually don't have to use cream of tartar, because what the cream of tartar is doing for your egg whites, copper does naturally. So excited. It just came in the mail and I'm using it for the first time. I believe Jonathan, who makes the bowls and owns the company, might be watching, and he might be able to answer any questions if anybody has anything, like how to pronounce it correctly. Okay, so I want to keep my sugar mixture where I can watch it, but okay. I also want to show off the copper. So I have my hand mixers because I am not beating this by hand. So egg whites and a couple tablespoons of sugar. And you know what? Usually I add cream of tartar to the egg whites and I beat them till they're foamy, then I add the sugar. But because I'm making it in copper, I'm not using cream of tartar and I'm just putting it all together. Just thought I should say that. Look how fast that foams. So this is if you aren't using a copper bowl and you're using a normal bowl, this is the stage where you would add the sugar typically. And then keep beating on high. Man, that is so loud. So we're looking to get to soft peaks. But I just wanted to just bring my finger in here, and there is like no graininess at all. And that was granulated sugar, and it's totally grainy free. I don't feel anything at all. Okay, sorry, wash my hands. That is seriously amazing. And look at that gorgeous foam. So pretty. Sorry, you guys, this is so loud. This is why I pre-beat the whipped cream last week. I'm really quickly, for anybody watching on Facebook, I'm going to put the link to the YouTube video on because it's having so many problems over there. Try YouTube. It's smooth. Okay, just to help anybody out, we're gonna check on the sugar mixture really fast. And it's not boiling yet, so just gonna get a quick stir and keep that going. You guys are doing great at answering each other's questions. How long does ganache last in the fridge? I usually keep it in the fridge for like, I don't know, 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the age of your cream that went into it and your ratio. The more chocolate, the longer it's going to last. But really, it's about that cream. That's the thing that's going bad in this, because chocolate's not going bad. So if your cream is a lot older when you make it, then your ganache is going to last less time. If your cream is newer, then your ganache is going to last a little bit longer. And then you can always freeze it as well, although that's not my favorite way to do it. I prefer the refrigerator, which is funny because usually I prefer the freezer. Yes, you can add coffee to ganache. I don't like coffee, so I don't have a good tip for that, so because I haven't done that in the past myself. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can add to ganache. You just got to experiment a little bit with the ratios. But really it's about that creamy liquid and the chocolate. Just be careful. Water-based stuff makes chocolate seize. I have made a coffee ganache. Oh good, this is finally boiling. I have made a coffee ganache in the past, and I used espresso powder with the cream and the chocolate, not like coffee itself, if that helps and makes sense. But again, I'm not an expert on coffee. I'm gonna put that out there right now. Hello from Ohio, thank you so much. Yeah, okay, we're going back to whipping the egg whites. We're almost to soft peaks, which is what we're looking for. You can see it start to have shape. This is looking amazing. Not quite to soft peaks yet, but I am going to scrape down the sides really fast. And while I'm scraping down the sides, I'm going to test my sugar mixture over here. Come on, turn on. My new thermometer keeps deciding not to work on me, and it's driving me batty. Okay, lovely. So much for a brand new thermometer that's supposed to be instant read. I can't even get it to turn on. Okay, putting a normal candy thermometer in here. And we're almost there. Not quite. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. All right, we've got beautiful soft peaks now. And now we're just waiting for the sugar mixture to be up to temperature, and we are about 3 degrees away, so we are getting close. So while we're waiting, are there any other questions? I know there was a question about starting the live. Yeah, you just take the little red ball and scroll it over to the side, and you can start the live from the beginning. The copper bowl is so pretty. I know, isn't it? I'm so excited about it. You guys are all answering that. They'd whip up faster if you waited to add sugar till you go foamier. Flyboy, I've never noticed a difference personally. But you know, it feels like half of cooking is filled with old wives' tales. There was something that somebody said the other day to me that I was just like, that's just not true. Frozen butter works better for making toffee. And I'm like, that is just not true. So I personally have not found a difference in waiting to add the sugar when it's already foamy, and when it hasn't, when I've used a copper bowl. So, but you totally go with what works for you. All right. Oh, we're so close. We're 1 degree away on the sugar. So yeah, anybody on Facebook watching, there's 5 of you. I know it's really jerky over here. I put in a link down below to YouTube because this week YouTube is working. Last week it was the opposite. I cannot seem to get both streams working smooth at the same time. Alice, did I start with a chilled bowl? I did not. I never think ahead that well. I know that like making whipped cream and stuff like that, it helps to use a chilled bowl, but honestly, I usually am just working on recipes and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, time to make the whipped cream, and then I don't want to sit around and wait for the bowl to chill, so I just do it. So it's not something that I usually bother with, but if you are one of those think ahead people, then go for it, for sure. Okay, yay! We have hit the right time for the sugar. So it's time to pour the sugar into our egg whites. So tip for this, you do not want to pour the sugar on the beaters, because what will happen if you pour the sugar on the beaters is you will fling hot sugar all over your kitchen, and that is not a mess that you want to deal with. Like, it's the worst. But because this bowl is completely rounded on the bottom and it does not have a flat surface, it's going to be kind of hard to do this one-handed. So I am going to take a wet paper towel and put it underneath, and that will help kind of hold the bowl in place while I get the sugar mixture and pour it in. So what you're aiming for is that area between the beaters and the side of the bowl, because we also don't want it way up here because that's not going to do any good. So we want to pour it like right into there in a nice thin stream. And then just bring it back up to high and keep beating it. Dartha, you do not have to have a copper bowl to make this. This is my first copper bowl I've ever had, and I make marshmallow fluff all the time. But no, you cannot use a store-bought marshmallow fluff for this recipe. It's way too thick. It will not dip properly. I'm starting to get mixer arms. It's actually the first time I've used a hand mixer for this in a long time, because I always just put it in my Bosch. But Bosch does not have a copper bowl. Somebody needs to invent like something to hold a hand mixer and beat for you while you rest your shoulder. Probably out there somewhere. So look how shiny and ribbony this is getting. This is looking amazing. We're getting nice lines as the beater comes around. We're getting so close, you guys. It's the only negative to live. are these moments right here that you just can't speed up or cheat or make ahead really easily. Okay, I'm gonna add the vanilla now. So let's take a look at this. Oop. Thickness. Scrape the sides. Oh, this is getting so pretty. So now we're gonna add the vanilla and then beat it a couple minutes longer. You can use, this is also when you can use different extracts and different flavorings that you might like. I forget how much vanilla. There we go. Haven't made this in a while. And now if you're using real vanilla, stick with the recipe. If you're using fake vanilla, because it's cheaper right now, then double the amount it calls for. Sherry, I love my box hand mixer, but they no longer sell them in the United States. I have had this one for 10 years. Yeah, 10 years, and it works awesome. I know, Bosch needs to get on that and make a copper bowl. They have a stainless steel bowl, but not a copper bowl. Oh, we're getting so thick and luscious right now. So these are like the two things that I would bathe in if I could. Marshmallow and ganache, all in one dessert. Seriously, it does not get much better than this. Except when, you know, the cameras work. I can feel the difference. We're almost there. So you see those great lines that we're getting and they're not going away between the passes? All right, let's check this out. Oh, this looks amazing. I think we are ready. Okay, so first things first, gotta lick the beater. Oh yeah. I just made a huge mess. But you can't not lick the beater when it's dripping marshmallow. You just can't. All right, let's pull out those truffle pops. Put some of this stuff away. So we have some room, because again, this is another very messy part of this dessert. So usually if I know I'm going to be going back to the oven, I wear real pants. And when I'm not going back to the oven, I wear pajama bottoms. And I just realized I've been walking back, putting the burner there. You guys have all had a great view of my pajama bottoms today. That's me being fancy. Oh, you guys look so amazing. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take our prepared chilled pops that we made. Let's see, come in focus, there we go. And we're going to dip it and swirl it. And as I pull it out, I'm going to continue to swirl it, and that gives me some like shape to my pop and some texture. If you want yours to be totally smooth, you can go for that too, but I kind of like the texture in the swirls because it's really going to pop when we toast it. So I'm going to go through and dip a bunch of these now. So dip and turn. Ooh, I like the texture of that one even better. Look how pretty that one turned out. Because when we torch it, it's going to pull up all of those little ridges are going to just really be nice. So dip and turn, and just repeat until you're done. And again, I'm using my same foam block to put these in once I'm done with them. And dip and swirl and repeat. Now, how I got the idea for these actually was I was at an event and they were making these. They had this part done already and chilled and ready to go. And then they whipped up their marshmallow and they were doing this part. They would dip the marshmallow and toast it and hand it to you. And dip the marshmallow and toast it and hand it to you. It was awesome. So I've had a lot of questions on the blog about, can I make these ahead of time? And the answer is yes, you can, but they're really nice fresh. So this, if you were like looking to do this, I've had a lot of people ask about like an outdoor wedding in the summer. If you're looking to do this at the wedding, I think it would be worth having someone there pre-making all of these and then doing this part, the dipping and torching life, because it's not only about how amazing it tastes fresh like that, but that toasted marshmallow fresh, there's just nothing better. But it's also that fun presentation. But if you really wanted to make these completely ahead of time and not have to worry about toasting it and stuff like that fresh, yes, I would make it. I would toast it, because you'll notice this marshmallow is going to want to drip if you don't toast it right away, because that's going to set it into shape. I'm already getting some dripping from these first two. Oh my word. That's easy. I'm just going to scrape that off. Oh, good. Good thing nobody's eating these but my kids. I'm not even going to stop and wash my hands. You guys can get mad at me. Okay. Torch on. And, oh, I just lost my flame. There we go. And just torch these. Don't forget to torch the top too. Oh my word, you guys. Maybe I should have beat them just another minute. Look at this. Look at all the dripping of the marshmallow. It does not usually do this. So clearly I should have whipped it for another minute, but I was getting impatient because it was boring just whipping and not being able to talk to you guys. So I'm going to torch these, and then I'll probably whip them a couple more minutes after I get off with you guys. All right, so let's torch another one. If they catch on fire, blow them out. Oh my word. I don't even know how to do this one. The drip has gone all the way down the stick. Of course this happens when I'm doing it live. Of course it does. Like, I can't even tell you how messy I am at this moment. All right, I'm going to dip and toast one fresh so you can see those great lines, because these are not getting those lines because they're dripping so much. Okay. Oh my word, it's so amazing. You know I'm sitting here licking my fingers while you guys can't see me and judge me. Okay. So dip fresh and toast fresh. Look how pretty that is. Oh, this is totally smoking, you guys. Look how pretty that is with that swirl in there. And now I don't have to worry about it dripping. In fact, now I'm going to take a big old bite to show you guys. So it's nice and warm. Oh. So good. I took too big of a bite. I'm going to have to bite another one for you. Because look, I took too big of a bite and I bit all the way to the stick. I'm not getting that pretty center. Hold on. I'm going to do it again. because you got to get that pretty bite in the center, right? All right, so dip and swirl. And toast. And obviously, if you were like presenting these to people, you would wear gloves because that's just appropriate. All right. I did so much better this time. All right, here's your close-up. So you got that ooey, gooey marshmallow and that great chocolate soft truffle. You can see the marshmallow all squishy and gooey. Look how good that looks. So good. Whoop. This is seriously probably one of my favorite treats to make. So good. And my kids aren't even home, so I'm gonna eat all of these myself. All right. I'm gonna stay on a couple minutes, answer any questions, but that is it for this week. Next week I will be in Chicago, so I will not be going live. The week after that, I'm gonna have a fun surprise for you. I'm doing a live with Walker Shortbread on the Walker Shortbread Facebook page, but then on my YouTube channel. So in 2 weeks, I will see you guys live again. So thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, I'll stay on for a couple minutes and answer them. All right, have a nice day or a nice weekend. Nice summer. All right. Margaret, looks amazing. Ashlee, thank you so much. Looks so yummy, darn. Diva was right. You need to whip it real good. Whip it good. Bow, bow, bow. Yep. Thank you, Hillary. Now I'm going to have that stuck in my head literally all day. You love your honesty. You're raised by a health inspector, but when you're cooking for your husband, you do the same. Yeah, on the live last week, I had a ton of people comment about me not wearing a hairnet. I'm sorry, do any of you guys wear hairnets when you're cooking in your home? Because I don't. Like, if I'm cooking in a real kitchen, obviously, then I hairnet it up. I look dang good in a hairnet. But, okay, not really. Nobody looks good in a hairnet. But just cooking at home for my family, like that just really surprised me that people were upset about that, because it never occurred to me. Just because I'm filming these, I'm in my kitchen. This is my home. This is my actual kitchen, you know. Never occurred to me to wear a hairnet, so I don't know. I have so much marshmallow everywhere. It's getting hard to like turn this on. But yeah, my friend Jill might come over and eat them. She's probably watching. But she'll eat it anyway. But yeah, these are literally just for me. And if my 18-year-old adult child, she's working for me now, so she's in the other room. If she comes in, she'll probably have some too. Looks amazing. You love it. That's right. You're so funny. Benefits of being the cook, first crack at the beaters. I know, right? And the kids not being home means I don't even have to share the beaters. I just have them myself. Thank you for this. Love it. No excuse not to eat another one. Nice excuse to eat another one. Yes, you're right. Oh, darn it. I didn't get that good shot. I should probably eat 5 more. All right. That's what food photography looks like at my house when I'm like taking pictures of everything to put on the blog. It's like, oh, that bite wasn't good enough. It clearly needs another bite. One of the things I love when you're, oh, can you see the smoke? When you're toasting these, is also that like it expands and grows while you're toasting them. It's just kind of fun. So if I'm look, all right, it doesn't look like, how do you not weigh 500 pounds? Sherry, that's a good question. Portion control. I know I said I'm going to eat all of these, but I'm not going to eat all of them like right now. I'm going to eat like 2 now, and then 2 later, and then 2 more later, and then 2 more later. Really, I just, yeah, I eat smaller portions, but honestly, as some very kind commenters pointed out a couple weeks ago, I've actually gained a lot of weight the last couple of years while I've been going through my divorce. So now that it's finally over, maybe I will be able to lose weight and get back to what I used to be. But yeah, YouTube commenters are the best. I love how they just, I had a commenter last week say, excuse me, but, always a great start. I've been watching all of your videos and it seems like you've gained a lot of weight. Thank you so much. Yes, I have. So kind of you to notice. But yeah, I'm not 500 pounds, but I could easily get there if I'm not a little bit more careful. But good question. I also give a lot of food away. Obviously not stuff I've licked my fingers and stuff like this, but I also give a lot of food away that I've prepared a little bit more carefully to my neighbors. So they help me out a lot. But that's it. Where do you purchase the torch? Amazon. If you go to my website, I have a shop, and then I have an Amazon store, or because the YouTube comments disappear once the live is over, so I won't be able to respond directly to you. But if you want to wait till I turn this off in like 2 seconds, you can ask the question again. I can respond directly in the comments to you as a reminder of, like, to remind me to send you a link to the torch. But honestly, if you just look up food torch on Amazon, they're all about the same. This one's not like special. There's some things that I specifically recommend. This isn't one of them. Any torch will work. Good planning for those pops. Were you first story? So nice. Just another one. Thank you. You are so welcome. I think Jackie, you love my hair. Thank you so much. I think we're done. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go lick my fingers and then bathe in the rest of this marshmallow fluff. And because that's how I do. So yeah, I will see you in 2 weeks. So bye. Thank you so much for watching. And oh, if I can turn everything off, have a great day.